Hello everyone, welcome back to Making a Game, but the top comment decides what I add next. The top comment last time comes from Coolium, who says, small visual improvements for the UI, considering they haven't been addressed yet. 1. Add a background to each boss, the main game, and basically anywhere it's just a blank page at the moment. 2. Add a pixel font. It doesn't make sense to have everything be pixel, including the buttons, and then the text isn't. 3. Add effects to clicking the buttons, so they aren't just fully static. Got a little scared seeing a list at first, but it was only 3 things, and they're pretty simple and all related to each other, so I managed to get this one done pretty quickly, and it didn't take me 7 months to complete. Now you may have already noticed that I have added some backgrounds. As you can see in our basic scene here, we have some rounded squares around the screen, and these are our background. It sort of breaks up the plain color that the background had before, but it doesn't get rid of that sort of simplicity or distract from the main elements. I've also added other backgrounds to other scenes depending on what they are. So let's go into the skins really quick and we'll see another background. And here we are. This one has stars, sort of, I don't know, indicative of all the skins and customization. Saying it out loud doesn't really make too much sense, but I think it fits nicely here. And the reason I kept the backgrounds all single color like this is because of the background skins that we have in the game. So if we go look at the background skins, we'll see we have all these different colors that we can choose from. And if I go ahead and click dark mode, you'll see the background actually adjusts. It's no longer the same gray, it's now a lighter color. And that's not just an optical illusion of, oh, the background just got darker. If I go ahead and click another skin like Royal, you'll see the background is now purple. And the stars are also a lighter purple. The way this works is pretty simple. All the background images are actually slightly transparent. And so what I can do is just set the color of it to the color of the text. So this is a white image on a purple background, just like the white text on the purple background. And because it's transparent, you can sort of see through it and it makes it turn purple. And I'll just quickly go through the other scenes and showcase them. Go to minigames, here's one for the casino. Now you can't really see too much of it, but what I can do is actually exit the full screen here and show off another feature of these backgrounds, which is that they stretch with your screen. So if I squish it down a bit, you can kind of see the edges a lot more. If I make it more vertical, you can see more of the vertical space. If it gets too tall, then it starts to squish in from the sides. And so that will happen with any background in any scene. It just keeps it clean, and I think it turned out pretty nicely. But let's move on to the other scenes now. The garden doesn't have one since it's already had that dirt background. Can't really add that transparent background to it because it would be covered up anyways. But with fishing, I've gone ahead and added a little sky. So you've got some clouds, sun, and of course the water's still here. And that's pretty much it. Next, I'll show off a part of the game that's often forgotten, the credits. Here we go. I just added some little hexagons. I wasn't really sure what to put for the credits, but the hexagons turned out pretty nice. I think they work. And next, I'll show off the shop. For the shop, I've just added a simple stone, sort of brick background like you're in some kind of store. That's pretty much it for this one. And now I think I can show off the bosses. I've given each set of boss a different background, so all the Ouroboros share a background, all the Stormius, all the cloaks, all etc. So let's just show those off one by one. Here is Ouroboros' background. Just some orbs floating in the air and a bunch piled along the bottom. Here is the Stormius background. You can sort of see these storm cloud zap particles, whatever they are. I've copied them all along the edge here and given them varying levels of transparency, sort of like you're surrounded by this storm cloud. And for Cloak, I've added, pretty simple, a brick wall, since I feel like Cloak themselves represents, or well, looks like a brick wall, especially once you get the attack started. For Lorelia, I've added these sort of pillars, sort of like you're in some kind of a pantheon. I think it works. They're pretty simple, but I think they go a long way with the design. Last but not least, there's the boss mech. And for the boss mech, I've just added these gears in the background. Again, these aren't complicated, they're simple backgrounds, but they do feel, at least to me, like they fit the style of the game. And so I think they do what they need to do. But now we can move on to the second suggestion, which is the pixel font. So, pretty simple. I've added another font to the game, and just like the Comic Sans, which costs 100 orbs, you can go into the store and buy the pixel font for 200 orbs. And we've unlocked it. I can select it. And now we've got a pixel font. And here's how it looks. You know, it's got that pixely look with very slightly rounded edges, barely noticeable, but cleans it up. And that's pretty much it for the pixel font, not much else to say there. And the final addition today is the button clicking effects. You might have already noticed them. And to demonstrate, let me just start clicking the central buttons. Yeah, that's the effect. They bounce a little bit when you click them. They go in, they come back out. This to every button in the game. So I go into the settings, or the minigames, or the skins. If I go to the skins, you know, I can select them. They bounce, you select them. Pretty simple. Every button in the game has this, and that is pretty much it. As always, if you have any ideas or suggestions for the game, leave them in the comments below. The comment that gets the most likes will decide what I add in the next video. Be sure to like other people's comments too, not just your own, and maybe like the video. I'll see you next time.